If you're preparing for a core finance interview, what are the key topics that you need to kind of work on, prepare on? My name is Piyush. Welcome to another video on our channel. In this video, I'm going to run you through 6 topics that you need to prepare for in order to be a part of core finance interviews like equity research, investment banking, corporate finance or private equity, venture capital, right? वो कौन से 6 एरियाज हैं जिन पे आपको प्रिपेयर करना है वो हम ये अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे इस पर्टिकुलर वीडियो में. So let's jump right into it. The first and foremost element that you need to kind of prepare on is macroeconomic data. You need to understand what's happening in the global economic environment. You need to understand what's happening in Indian economic environment. Globally क्या हो रहा है, इंडिया में क्या हो रहा है, specific references to monetary policy and fiscal policy of the country. RBI क्या कर रहा है, and what is the latest budget, what is the fiscal policy scenario in the country at this point of time, that needs to be understood. You need to have a sense and understanding of the economic data. What is the GDP? What is inflation? What are forex reserves, currency data points within the context of the country? Import-export scenario kya hai? What's the balance of payments, scenario in the country at any given point of time? All of that needs to be understood. Additionally, an understanding of the banking industry is important because the banking industry is intertwined with the country's economy, right? So what's happening with credit growth? Are NPAs going up? Are they under control? What's really happening with the banking industry? That needs to be understood as well within the macro framework. So that's point number 1. You need to have a good handle on macroeconomics. The second point, pick any industry, one industry of your choice and get a detailed understanding of that. कोई भी एक industry pick कर लीजिए और उस पर detailed understanding develop कीजिए. You should know factual data about the industry. What is the size? What is the growth rate? How big is it? How big it can become? ग्लोबली इस तरह की इंडस्ट्री का क्या साइज है, इंडिया में क्या साइज है, व्हाट आर द की कंपनीज इन दिस पर्टिकुलर इंडस्ट्री, राइट? हु इज द कस्टमर? इज इट B2B, इज इट B2C, इज इट B2G? गवर्नमेंट को सेल कर रहे हैं, इंडिविजुअल को सेल कर रहे हैं, कंपनीज को सेल कर रहे हैं, व्हाट्स रियली हैपनिंग हियर? व्हाट आर द की ग्रोथ ड्राइवर्स इन द इंडस्ट्री? You can also use some frameworks and have an understanding about a particular sector. For example, you can use a Porter's 5 forces. Develop this understanding. You should have factual data with respect to at least one sector when you're preparing for a finance interview, right? The next comes financial statements. Needless to say, one of the most important aspects of any of these roles is understanding and ability to decode financial statements. Thorough understanding of 3 financial statements, balance sheet, P&L, cash flow, linkages between them. When one changes, what happens to the others? Horizontal and vertical analysis, just understanding how kind of numbers move trend-wise, horizontally and vertically, essentially, when you're looking at them. Ratio analysis, being able to calculate, but more importantly, interpret and analyze ratios. For this, pick one company and try and know everything about it. Look at its numbers, revenues, profits, balance sheet size, debt, fixed assets, market cap कितना है, सब पता होना चाहिए आपको एक कंपनी के बारे में. Pick up last 2-3 annual reports, investor presentations, go through them in detail, right? Calculate and analyze ratios. You should have a complete understanding of one sector and one company when you're getting into any of these interviews. If somebody asks you a question on this company or this particular sector, you should be able to give factual data and you should be able to speak for at least 5 to 10 minutes coherently about that particular business and sector, right? Then comes core corporate finance concepts, time value of money, NPV, IRR, payback period, all of that needs to be understood. Working capital management, CAPM, cost of capital, cost of equity, beta, risk-free rate. How do you kind of arrive at these numbers? What are the linkages? Corporate actions, dividends, bonuses, stock splits, buybacks. What are these? What is the impact of these on financial statements? A little bit of quantitative finance. What is standard deviation, right? What is geometric mean, arithmetic mean? How do you kind of use, when do you kind of use them? Different kinds of returns that come up, money weighted rate of return, time weighted rate of return. Some of these concepts become very, very important. So a better understanding, a good understanding of core finance concepts is generally useful, right? Then asset classes. Equities, any which ways, if you have kind of researched about one particular company, you've researched about a little bit around a sector, then equity markets, a little bit understanding of that, how equities work. That's a good enough sort of understanding that is there. Fixed income, understand what are bonds, different types of bonds, key terminologies in the fixed income segment, right? What is a coupon? What is duration? What are the risks that are involved in fixed income securities? Understand and work on those. A basic understanding of derivatives is very helpful. So understand what are futures, forwards, options, different types of these instruments that are there. What is hedging, what is speculation, what is arbitrage, where are we using these derivatives? Within options, if you can develop an understanding on option pricing, if you can develop an understanding on option strategies, nothing like it, that'll be very, very useful. But try and kind of at least have a basic understanding on derivatives. You can obviously keep adding more to it as you go along. So ye ho gaya asset classes. Financial markets, last but not the least. What is happening in the stock markets in India, globally? If you're trying to build a career in financial industry, financial services industry, core finance roles, you need to have an understanding on what's happening in capital markets, right? So what's happening to stock markets, what's been the performance of key indices, basic opinion on markets and valuation, at least a sense of where we are, right? That is very, very important. And some understanding of historical market events and market parameters that are there. So that's also going to be very, very important if you're going to try and look at this data point. All in all, if you have kind of covered these 5-6 points, right? These 6 points, summarizing them: macroeconomic environment, industry analysis, financial statements, one company, a lot of detail about it, core finance, corporate finance concepts, asset classes, and financial markets. If you have a strong understanding on these 6 concepts, you're good and ready to go for any kind of core finance interviews. That's it in this particular video. We have a lot of resources around some of these concepts on our YouTube channel itself. If you haven't yet subscribed to it, please do so. And if you have any thoughts about what other videos we should create, please let us know in the comment section. That's it in this particular video. Thank you.